Hey guys, guess what? Back! So what's up? It's been a while. And I have got a banger of a show today. This feels weird because it's been almost 3 years, I feel like, since I've done a show. And it feels so good to be back. My voice sounds like absolute shit right now because that's how much fun I had last night recording this interview with Mass of Amara. They are straight up some of the coolest people I've ever met in my entire fucking life, and definitely deserve all the recognition that they're getting now and that hopefully they are about to get to. And make sure that you check out the descriptions where you can actually find all of their information all across social media and all of their music pages as well too. Also, be sure to check Voice of Somebody out because we are gonna have some bangers coming up. I know I was supposed to start this in October, but you know me, I'm impatient as fuck. I wanted to get this shit going now. So let's do it. Mass of Amara in 3, 2, 1. So, first of all, how about you do me a little favor and introduce yourselves?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'm Ella. I do vocals for Mass of Amara.
Okay. I am Preston. I play guitar in the band. I just do that. I do guitar stuff.
Nice. So I guess my first question, because I want to go back. Like I want to go way back. Because one of the things that I feel like a lot of people, especially people in the metal scene, kind of not realize is just when we were growing up, the kind of shit that we used to listen to. Like, were you guys people that always listened to like rock and metal, like even like growing up, or did you listen to like other stuff and then kind of migrated over to metal?
For me, like, it was just whatever was on the radio. But once the first time, like, a rock song got to me was when I was, like, 12, 11, somewhere around there. And they were playing Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. And I was like, man, what song is that? And mom was sitting next to me. And she's like, oh, that's Guns N' Roses. And I was like, what's the name of the song? She's like, Welcome to the Jungle. And as soon as I got home, like, I searched it up on YouTube, like the video and everything, and I just had it on loop. And ever since then, like I was just stuck on like that was like my introduction to like rock, right? So like the 80s kind of hair metal band. So I got into that, and then it led me into the like heavier stuff like Korn, Slipknot, Marilyn Manson, and then it got me into deathcore, and then that's how it went for me.
Yeah, for me, it was like honestly like the most cliche. It was like Metallica, dude. Like when I heard Metallica, initially I was like, this is absolutely insane. And what really like inspired me to like want to do music in the first place was she's heard this like 1,000 times, but the VHS box set Metallica put out forever ago. My dad had the VHS on in the living room, and like 6-year-old, 5-year-old me or whatever, I'm waking up like rubbing sleep out of my eyes, and then I walk out the living room and I see just people losing their fucking mind on the TV. And Kirk Hammett just looking the absolute coolest I've ever seen him look. And I'm just like, dude, I don't know what that is, but I need to like do that at some point. And honestly, like it was Metallica and like Metallica only for like so many years. Like that was what I was listening to. And then eventually it was like Alice in Chains. White Zombie. Because my dad got me this little iPod tape, and it had like some records on it. It was like Alice in Chains, White Zombie, Disturbed, some of that like new metal commercial type stuff. But when I met her in high school, she turned me on to like Korn and Slipknot, and then that's where it really started to shift.
Yeah, because like for me, it was so weird because my dad was the same way. Like the first album my dad ever got me was Ride the Lightning,
Uh,
and like being in a household where like my dad is kind of like a metalhead, and then my mom listens to like Whitney Houston and Debbie Gibson and all of that stuff. Like I grew up listening to both. Like where I live, since I live like right down the street from Epcot, we have the Food and Wine Festival, and
That is so
some of
cool.
the concerts that we have, like I'm so pissed because Tiffany's supposed to be here, but what? Okay, there we go. Yeah, Tiffany's supposed to be here, but I'm not going to be in town when she's here, so I was like, fuck. I was pissed, but actually, Preston, you actually segued me into my next question, which was so I'm assuming that Metallica was one of your influences, like in terms of like you getting into music, right?
100%. Yeah.
What about you, Ella?
Like as far as like pursuing music
Yeah,
and taking
like
it seriously.
what like if there was like an artist that just where it just kind of clicked in your head, it's like this is the kind of shit I want to do.
Yeah, that was Bjork for me. Like
I
I absolutely admire her so much just because I feel like a lot of the stuff that she does is what I think um music is supposed to do. Like just because it really brings out emotions for people that I feel like don't even know that they have inside. And she helps bring that out. And that's what she did for me. I mean, when I started listening to rock and metal music, that's when I started appreciating music. But when
Mhm.
I listened to her, that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to do that. I want to do that for somebody else because that's what we need more of in this
Yes.
world, right? We need more of that. I feel like there's too many people that are like robots, right? They listen to things that don't mean anything, that don't do anything for you. So it's like if there could be more and more people that could serve the world with their music, that's what I'd like to do.
Yeah,
100.
there can never be enough music out there for
No.
somebody to be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. And that inspires them. And then it's a cycle.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It's
it can never be enough.
yeah, it's 100% constant. And I'm the same way with Bjork too, because like there's artists that really like kind of transcend all of all of space, all of time, all of like any type of like creative boundary. And I feel like Bjork was one of the first like really like out there people that kind of transcended, like especially when it came to like not only to her music but to like her music videos and all of that stuff too. Like some of it was just absolutely groundbreaking for the time. And and you look to like people that have come out like more recently, like even going back to like the 2010s with like people like Lady Gaga. You see a lot of influence from
Oh yeah.
Bjork into like into her. And like and one of the other things too is, and I don't know Ella, if you've heard, I feel like you probably have, but the video of her, it was like, I want to say she was singing like, this is when she was a kid, and she was singing the it was like
The Christmas
Icelandic.
songs or whatever.
Yes,
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I saw that and I was just like, I literally just sat there. Like I was just sitting in my bedroom just watching this. I was like, holy shit.
It's so mesmerizing. It's
It
like she
is.
had that gift from the beginning.
It is.
Yeah.
Like I don't like it's still like it still leaves me speechless. The fact that like people can have like that much talent at such a young age and be able to like share that gift with everybody. It's just so it's just so awesome. And And I feel like too, I see a lot of that like in your music, because one of the things that I noticed is I'll listen to you guys like in different scenarios. So maybe I'll have it on like while I'm working, or I'll have it on in the car, or I'll have it on, like on my surround sound system or whatever. And every time you kind of get a different feeling. Like I kind of every time I hear like certain songs like with Army of Me or Unspoken or Rebirth, I hear little elements of different bands.
Oh, yeah.
And you could listen to the same song and you can get a completely different feeling. Cuz I was just thinking about this too, cuz when the very first band that I ever interviewed, which was in 2000, 2000. It was crazy because it was a female fronted band. They were kind of local-ish, and I felt like, and I asked them the same question that I'm going to ask you in just a second. And all of a sudden, like, they got big, and I'm hoping that history repeats itself, because, like, seriously, and I almost started off this show with this too, but how the fuck are you guys like not like massive right now? Like, for real, like that. It almost fucking pisses me off that like more like that you're not like seeing shows like like Vakken and Rock and Ring and all this stuff. I'm like, why the fuck aren't these guys on there? Like, for real.
I think we're on the right path. I definitely think that there's still a lot of learning to do yet before the universe kind of grants us the opportunities that we want down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Because for mostly all of us, this project is in a way like less than a year old. And what I mean by that is like we only started playing live this past December. The years prior to that is just us writing songs and just rehearsing, building up our live show with like, the backtracks and all that craziness.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like once we really get in the habit of things and really lock down what needs to get locked down for those big opportunities, the universe will give us those when we're there. I absolutely would love to play those festivals like tomorrow. But yeah, I just think that we still got some learning to do and just to get a lot of more maturing,
And honestly, I feel like the universe has been on our side every step, to be honest, because it has been giving us so many opportunities where we'll finish off like, yeah, this happened for a reason. You know what I mean? This all happened for a reason. We needed to learn how to get this down, because we didn't even think about having this down.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like it's just teaching us more and more. But we know that it's coming. We know that we're gonna get there. That's the thing. Because I've never doubted that. Because I feel like with just the short amount of time that we've been doing this, everything has been just going so well. Nothing. It's like anything that wants to get in the way can't get in the way. Like we're like, no, we're gonna make this happen. You know what I mean? Me and him started this.
Yep.
And we're just not gonna let anything get in the way. And we haven't let anything get in the way. It's all we've taken everything as a way to just learn and move forward. So
And I feel like even, especially in the music industry, but just in life in general, even when you're on those stages, you're still learning.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
like people like fucking Metallica, for example. They're still, they've been doing this shit for years and years and years, and they're still learning. Whether it be like learning about themselves or learning about their craft, or, just taking everything, just being able to enjoy like what they're like what they're doing, and that's what I love about y'all too, is that I can definitely sense that like like genuine like elation that that you really put your fucking heart and soul into what you do. And it's just it's definitely a breath of fresh air, because I feel like there's quite a few bands that just kind of they kind of do it for almost like all the wrong reasons, and and being wanting to actually be that inspiration for others to do the same thing is probably the most like noble thing that any musician can do, because gatekeeping I feel like is kind of a problem in the music industry.
Always.
Luckily though, like in the metalcore industry, like in that, like, or just like in the metal industry in general, there really isn't that. And I was actually going to talk about this later, but I love the fact, and I wish more bands would do this, but normalizing playthroughs.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to kind of just put a song out there, but you guys like taking the time out to like go through like the guitar playthrough, and and seeing other bands, like, because that's one thing I love as a musician myself too. Like, one thing I love watching is just seeing like how they like how they play the songs, like how they like what kind of like strumming techniques they use or drumming techniques they use, and like especially like drum playthroughs. I love those. So if you like, seriously, if you just want to send Joseph a little note and be like, yo, throw some drum playthroughs in there too. So because I actually started off as a drummer, like way back in the day, and then I moved on to like guitar and bass, but I still have the the drums in my heart, and the like your guys is it's like next level. The guitars are just like, God, it's just one of those things where it's like, taking a canary into the mine, like it's just going deep, and I love it.
Well, hell yeah, bro.
Like, I absolutely love it. But actually, and I'm impressed, and I'm so glad you're here, because as I was doing research for this interview, I heard a story, and I really want you to share it or about it. But and I feel like once I start to read what I wrote down here, you're gonna be like, oh my God. The Battle of the Bands with Descent.
Oh, dude. Damn, dude. You really,
High
dude.
school?
Yeah, dude. He fucking what is it? Narwhal? Who's that guy? Bro.
I'm not gonna go Nardwar level, that's for sure, because that dude could find like I always joke I'm like, I need him to like find my dad or something, but
Yeah, no, I mean, like, so what happened with that? Like, for me, like, it was just always a dream of mine to have a band and to like play shows and just play in front of an audience. So in high school, I'm just like trying to find people who I could do that solely with. And my good friend at the time, she like started getting into like singing and like wanted to do like metal vocals, which at the time for me, I'm like, that's kind of crazy, but okay, whatever. And so her boyfriend was a drummer, and then a mutual friend of ours played bass. So we're like, yo, we kind of have all the components. Like, let's just, do a few covers or whatever we decided to do for that talent show thing. And so then, yeah, the school announces like, oh, we're going to have like a talent show. And we're just kind of like, yo, that's an opportunity to, do what we want to do, which is play, in front of an audience or, whatever. And so we did a few covers, and yeah, dude, like it just was a complete shit show. Like we did When Sevenfold, Hail to the King, and then I busted my ass on learning that solo, and then like when that solo came up, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden everything that I learned about that solo just completely went out of my head. And I was like, all right, well, we're in this. So I just completely botched the solo. And then on the very last song, the drummer was supposed to be in tutoring or whatever to like pass to go on to the next grade. And the teacher stormed in and was like, yo, like, you're not doing this. Like, you need to get up and come with me right now to to tutoring in front of the audience. Bro.
Jesus.
Like, and she was there, dude. She was in the audience. Yeah. So, like, dude, I just remember, like, you know, he's literally in a yelling argument match with this teacher in front of everybody. And I'm just standing on the guitar and I'm just like, yo, I cannot believe this is actually like fucking happening right now. Like I've always envisioned playing in front of an audience, crowd cheering, and like, you know, even if I botched the solo, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden now I'm in this situation where like, what? And I just remember, like, as soon as we were done with that, I honestly just packed my shit and I just left. But, like, I didn't even want to talk to anybody. I was just like, dude, I can't believe that happened. But I went home. I played some video games or whatever to just get my mind off of it. But, you know, like, it never occurred to me to, like, nah, fuck that. Like, I'm quitting. Like, that. I'm never doing this again. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, you know, whatever. We'll just play some games, pout about it for a few days, and then we'll figure out what to do later on. But
like,
dude,
I don't get that. Like, why? The bitch couldn't wait like 5 minutes.
Dude, I know, it was insane. Like that's what we were all saying. Like she couldn't have just waited for them to just finish and then, you know,
the
have
last
that conversation. It's just like, no, she just walked in and yelled in front of everybody. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. Honestly, I was like in my mind on the verge of like letting the air out of her tires. Like I was that close to like scoop. Oh no, her car. What happened? You know what I mean? But I don't know. I was just like, I just know like in the moment I was like in shock. I don't even know if like embarrassment is the right word because I don't know, dude. Like I can't even remember the exact emotion. I just remember being like pissed off at her and then just like going home and just like fucking off for a few days. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. See,
but,
what you should have done is you should have kind of like worked it like as like part of the show. You could have been because you could have gone like full on like fucking like punk rock and just started like.
Yeah, there's been plenty of nights, not so much anymore obviously, but there's been plenty of nights where I'm like, dude, why didn't we just fucking play the song anyway? What is she gonna do?
Right.
Like, she can't turn the drums off. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean that's the advantage, you know.
That's where I wish, like, you know, we were educated enough to like know what the fuck rock and roll was about. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, like if it were me on the drums, I would have just fucking counted it off and like, sorry, bitch, like you're gonna deal with it.
Or maybe if there's somebody like a fucking brand from Macedon, just drum and sing at the same time. Fuck it, just
yeah. But yeah, man, that's a funny story. But that's funny that you bring it up, man. That's great.
I fucking love that story, man. Like for real.
Well, I'm glad because yeah, dude. Like in the moment, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. This is like insane. Like it wasn't supposed to go down this way. What the fuck?
Well, that's kind of goes back to what we're talking about. It's all about learning. Like, exactly. you learn that some teachers will totally fuck your setup for no reason. So, you know, stuff like that. Why does it say like
time left? I just saw that too.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. I don't know, but
Well, I
but
guess we'll see what happens.
yeah, we'll see what happens, and then if anything, I'll just send you another Zoom link and then switch off somewhere else. Um, but I guess I guess before the timer cuts out, one of the things that I did want to talk about, obviously, how you guys formed this band. Like, what was it kind of like what kind of sparked it off and kind of said like, let's do this shit, you know?
You want to start?
Well, he was already doing music, obviously. He was already in bands and all that. And like the band that he was in, I knew that he had problems like because of the other people, not because of him.
Yeah.
It was just like, other people weren't really working or doing their part. And I was just kind of finding more of what I wanted to do. And I just kind of had an awakening in 2020. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to freaking pursue music. And so I just decided I wanted to do vocals. And that's when I started learning how to do the cleans and the screams and all that. Like, it took a minute, but it like started like in 2021. And once I got like okay-ish and I was just very eager to start already, that's when I was like, hey, we should really start something together. And he wasn't sure yet because he was like, I don't know, I have my other band right now and da 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 da. But I knew it wasn't working out very well because the people we were working with weren't like good and doing their part. So I thought, I was like, okay, how do I like reel him in to like want to work with me? Like I need to trick him or something. So I was like, you should help me record this cover, Reign of Darkness by the artist Murder. I was like, you should really like help me with this. I really want to do this. Just act like it was just something for me. And when I did that and we made the video and everything, like as soon as we got in the car and we finished everything, he was like, yeah, you know what? We're gonna start this. Like we're gonna start together. And I was like, yes.
I want to say, like, in the moment, I probably, because in my mind it's a little bit differently, but either way, it still is very similar. But like, because the way I remember it is like, yeah, I helped her out with the Reign of Darkness. She did like a cover video for it that I helped her film, and I was like, yeah, dude, the metal vocals are like sick. They're gnarly, like just keep at it. Like, like you can always get better.
Yeah.
And then, Rebirth is actually the very first song we ever wrote for the band. And so when I had the song like recorded, or like at least demo wise, I remember her asking me like, hey, can I write lyrics to it? And I was like, yeah, go for it. Because at the band that I was trying to start at the time was definitely not going to use that song.
Yeah.
And when she wrote a few melodies or like came over and like tracked some like melodies and the metal vocals, I was like, that's where I remember where I'm like, oh fuck, like no, this has some like, marketability, and like this could actually be a project. This could actually be, something.
I literally just upgraded to Zoom Pro.
Yeah, you're good. But that was the moment where I was like, okay, no, this has potential to be like a legit fucking like,
Yeah.
a arch enemy ginger fucking type of band. And that was also the moment where I was like, we need to do like the Army of Me cover, because we both really love the movie Sucker Punch.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's how I discovered Bjork.
Yeah.
Really?
Because they played Army of Me in that movie. And I was like, man, I really like this song. And that's how I like looked more into her, like, oh, who's Bjork and all that.
Yeah. And then
Interesting.
so when I heard the song, like years beforehand, I was like, that would always be a sick metal song. Like it's just set up for it.
It is.
And so then I was like, oh, well, she's a girl. She can sing it. And we just throw in a little breakdown with some metal screams over it. All of a sudden, it's our own version. And so that's where we were like, no, like, let's just like let's do the cover to, drop out there and like let people like really see like, okay, you know, this is where like, because if you just drop a single and you're a band that nobody fucking knows, I mean, good luck to you. You know what I mean? It's like the
exactly.
greatest song of all time. You know, like,
Or you have so much money to market it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like, you know, we needed a way, like, you know, for you, for example,
Mhm.
you know, you see Army of Me and you're like, okay, let's see this band's take on it. And then you're like, oh shit, what the
Right.
fuck?
Right. That was my exact reaction. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Exactly. And then that, and you know, you're gonna be curious to see what our other shit sounds like, and then you know, you're either on board or you're not. But at least, you know, at least you went further to check it out. And that was like the goal. That was the goal. So that was like the true beginnings of like Moa.
So you said Rebirth was the first song y'all ever did?
Yeah, that was.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that was I wrote that song in my old ass apartment, and I remember like there's a tap section in it, and she was over while I was like tracking it, and I remember looking at her and I'm like, dude, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna play this live. Like, having to like play the chords and then go to the tap part right after it, but here we are. So anytime I play Rebirth, I honestly just think about like where it started. Like that's what goes on in my mind is like flashbacks while I'm playing it live.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I would not have fucking guessed like that. Like it just sound like Rebirth is just so. It's like chef's kiss. Like I would not have guessed like for real because like, and I'm so glad you fucking brought up Arch Enemy too because like I'm one of those people like because I love women in metal, like especially on vocals because it just gives such like such a range, and like people like Alyssa from Arch Enemy, and then even going back to Angela from Arch Enemy, who I absolutely love. Like that when the only time I've seen Arch Enemy was with Angela. I have not seen them with Alyssa yet. Yeah, I know. Because the thing is, when you live in Florida, the concert scene it's good, but also there's a little bit of a problem because. And I ran into the same problem in Chicago thinking like, oh, when I move down to Florida, it's not going to happen here. It fucking happens here now. Because in Chicago, I don't think they do it with Riot Fest, but they definitely do it with Lollapalooza, where if you're playing at Lollapalooza, you can't book another show in the area during the summer. And a lot of time, and now here, because I'm in Orlando, and 45 minutes away is Daytona. Yeah. And when a lot of bands decide, like, oh, let's just go, when we go to Florida, let's just do Rockville. And it's like, it's kind of shitty because it, like, prices out, like, a lot of these people that it's like, oh, like, there's a smaller band that I've been dying to see. I mean, they're playing Rockville. That's awesome, but I might not be interested in some of the other bands that are playing that day. And then all of a sudden,
it's like you gotta stand outside if you want to get a good spot through all of it.
Exactly. Like I love the more like intimate shows. Yeah. Like I remember going to the House of Blues in Chicago, and I have so many memories of that place. Like going to shows back in like the early 2000s and seeing like I still remember there was I don't think I have the scar anymore, but I used to be that person that would camp like right at the entrance hours before a show just so I can get on the barricade. And January in Chicago is fucking cold. And
Dude, how did you do that?
I don't know. To this day, I don't know. But I got to the venue, to the House of Blues at 12:30 in the afternoon. Doors opened at 6.
Fuck.
It was like 20 degrees that day. And I just like fucking just sat out there with my hoodie and like, cuz I don't wear winter coat. Fuck winter coats. Like they're constricting and all that shit. So, you know, so I camped out. I got a spot right up in front. It was, I want to say it was, I forgot who the opener was, but it was Spineshank and Mudvayne. And when Spineshank was playing, and I remember I met Johnny Santos after the show too, because what had happened was during I forgot what song it was, but one of the songs he used to jump out, like he used to stage dive and go out into the crowd. This motherfucker decides, you know what? I'm gonna jump out into the crowd and I'm gonna sing. I was like, cool. What was not cool? He didn't have a wireless mic. Guess where that cord went? Right around my neck. Right around my neck. And I had like a bruise over here for like, it looked like I literally got hung. Like I had a bruise for like 6 weeks over there. And and like I remember meeting him like after the show, and he's like, what happened to your neck? And I was like, because I had like because the security had like brought me like a bandage because it like started bleeding. So he's like, what happened to your neck? I'm like, you motherfucker, when he stage dove. Yeah, and he's like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. So like he hooked me up with like some merch and shit, but like that's one of those things, like you don't get those types of vibes in like bigger venues. Like yeah, they're awesome, but you know, but they have,
Unfortunately, it's a lot different now because it's so easy to just like, oh, lawsuit for something like that. You know what I mean?
yeah, like I mean, we kind of saw that with Randy from Lamb of God.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like that shit was fucking crazy. And I don't know if you've seen that whole like documentary about all that, like As the Palaces Burn. If you haven't watched it, I would highly suggest you watch it, because it is it is fucking crazy. Because like they're just doing like a whole like documentary on the band, and then it just happened to be in the middle of all the shit that went down with Randy, and you know, and it kind of followed it. The story kind of wrote itself at that point, you know. But they actually kind of thinking about it, because it's funny, because like I wrote like a whole bunch of notes, and then now it's just like kind of like as we're talking, it's like I kind of like bounce between different things, because it kind of flows a lot better. But you know, kind of talking about like the beginning versus now, what was has the writing process kind of changed, or is it still kind of the same?
Honestly, it's been more or less the same. Usually, like before we had Victor and Josh in the band, the other two guitar players. Like I said, you know, it was just me and her.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, we added, you know, I talked to Joseph about joining. So for a drummer to just like, you know, show up to a writing session, just be all like, yeah, no, like here's what I'm thinking. That starts doesn't really work that well. But so what I do is like, you know, I'll track the idea on my computer and like MIDI out the drums. You know, poor Joseph, you know, I'll give him a drum part. He goes, that's a little crazy, but I can work with it. But it's just kind of always been that, you know. And then like when Victor joined up, you know, we would meet at my apartment and like just bounce ideas back and forth. And like, dude, the drums would sound cool if we did this, and like MIDI that out, and just stupid breakdown here, stupid breakdown there. And then when the song is like basically done, you know, like give it to Ella, and then she sits on it for a few weeks, comes up with the vocals and screams and stuff. And then whenever we get around to like actually like tracking it, that's when we're like, hey, let's try a high scream here. Let's try a guttural, more low end, beefy scream here. And then once we have like the demo, it's kind of like, well, now we know what to do. And then we'll, like through the ether, we basically did all that and then went up to the studio where I was working. And then I recorded, everything there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it hasn't really been that much different, moving forward past this, like we all have ideas right now and it's more or less going to like be the same where like, either me, Josh, or Victor will bring an idea, we'll throw it on like Logic or Cubase and just kind of hash out the ideas. And that's just what we've always done. And I mean, I've even hung out with Josh way before MOA, where we did the same thing because he was in the other band I was trying to start before MOA. So it's always just been like that, at least for me. So it's never been like garage style. We're like, okay, dude, like, let's give me the beat and then we just write a riff. Like, no, that's crazy for me. That's crazy.
Yeah, and like, first of all, I gotta give you props for using Cubase because I like me, I'm like Logic and like I use Logic, but not as much, mainly because the main computer that I write music on is a Windows PC. So I actually, because it's weird because like I do metal, but I also do EDM. So I've gotten so used to Ableton, where it's like if DAWs were like modes of transportation that you piloted, I feel like Logic would be like, it would be like the dashboard of like a new Mercedes. Like it's just clean. It does the job amazingly.
Yeah.
Whereas you got Ableton, which is like the fucking cockpit of a Boeing 737. because first of all, you gotta know exactly what the fuck you're doing, and second of all, you gotta pray that the thing doesn't break down.
Yep.
Because
for me, Cubase is my 2004 Kia, dude. My very first car.
But that's the thing, though. That's the thing. Like once you, that's why like so many people I know like use like Pro Tools and and use Cubase and use Logic and same thing goes with like video and photo editing. People's like I'm Photoshop, Adobe Premiere because I've used those for years and years and years, and it's just so hard to like give it up. But one of the things that I love, and I feel like this is like really like huge like in the metal scene and kind of like with you guys too, is the fact that like nobody's afraid to experiment with with trying out like different things or different tones, or like there's like one of the things that I do, because lately I've been more so like into like playing bass and like just, and it's kind of funny because I think I want to say it was the last playthrough that you did. You mentioned that you used the the Gojira X plugin.
Yeah.
So I hooked my bass up into that plugin, and then threw it through Guitar Rig 6. Because I mean, to be honest, I'm a Native Instruments whore. Like I've got like so much equipment from them and the complete software. Like I'm a whore for all their shit. But like I threw it with that plugin and that into my bass, like because I got the Ibanez 5-string over there, and I swear to God, that shit sounded almost exactly like Peter Steele. And I was just like, I need to save this because I need to preserve this.
Like that's the magic of music production nowadays.
Yes.
All at your fingertips, like when growing up in school, they were like, you know, oh, you're not going to have a calculator on you everywhere you go. And it's like, psych, bitch, look at us now. Like,
Yep.
it's, you know, back then it's like, oh, what pedal is that? Oh, I got to go find that. You got to go hunt it down, or you were lucky enough to order it online or whatever. Like, you know,
Yep.
but nowadays it's just all like on, you know, DSP websites, and like, and you know, you go to Logic or Cubase or whatever, and you can just combine different plugins and just make all these crazy ass sounds and save them. And it's like, dude, like you wouldn't be able to like do that so easily now.
Yeah, and especially now with like, I feel like we're kind of coming full circle where like there's more analog being brought into music production too, because I've seen like I don't know if y'all have seen there's a couple producers or a couple YouTubers, Rob Scallon and Andrew Huang.
Yeah.
So
I'm very familiar with Rob Scallon. Andrew Wong I know of. I don't really watch his videos that much.
So there's one that is like super duper interesting because Andrew has like a giant like Euro rack of just like analog like like, you know, the
Is it that big ass wall of like all the synths and stuff?
Yes.
Plugging in?
Yes.
I saw
And-
that video.
yeah, then they plug the guitar into that shit, and it's just like that's the kind of thing that is what I feel like is so great about music is like you could use these sounds and use these like things that you didn't really think were possible, because before I felt like with music it was like, okay, what can be done, and now we've gone into what do we want to do? Because it's like whatever fucked up idea you have in your head, you could just like put it down in a way that you want it to, and it might come out awesome. It might fucking suck, but that's the glory of music, is that you don't have to create a banger every time. You could just put something down and you're like, that fucking sucks. Save it. Just save it somewhere or just delete it. I know me, I never delete any of the shit that I do because I never know, like, maybe it'll come back later. And
yeah, dude, like a perfect example of that is like at the end of our song Ascended, there's this crazy fucking crack at the very end. It's just like this loud boom or whatever. And if you listen back, you might be able to hear it. You should, because I tried to make it pretty like gut punching and noticeable. And especially live, dude, it's just insane. It just absolutely just blows the speakers. Like, it's just but all that is like it's just a neural. It's the Gojira plugin, and I want to say it's on like one of the clean presets, and it's just pitched really low. And all I did is I just grabbed the pick and put it like underneath my top string, and I just pulled it as far back as I could.
oh my god!
And it just made this loud, just fucking like gong kind of sound.
Jesus.
And the way I can describe it is like when you listen to Metallica's "Wherever I May Roam," there's like those same cracks in that song.
Oh, yeah.
If you listen or if you find the video where they're like in the studio and they're like going through, Jason Newsted that he used like a 12-string bass to like do that crack sound.
Jesus.
It's very similar, but the second I did it, I was like, oh my God, like that's kind of what I did basically. But yeah, I mean, having done that with like, you know, a guitar amp, like impossible. I wouldn't have even like found that out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
see,
yeah,
and if I would have tried that, I probably would have just, you know, I probably would have broken my string, to be honest, because that's the kind of luck I always have. Is that's why like I guess like Amazon felt sorry for me because I ordered one pack because I used to order strings like all the time because I kept breaking them, and I ordered because I have a 7-string, and I ordered a pack of the Ernie Ball, like the steel cobalts, and I ordered 1 pack, and they sent me like 7.
Damn.
Yeah, I was like, shit. All right, well, I'm good on strings for a while.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, but so okay, so what I the one thing I've been dying to talk about this too, and this is where we're gonna get more into your realm, Ella, like because one of the things that I read, like especially when it came to your writing process, especially I feel like this is for the EP where it says basically like exploring reactions to life's problems and occurrences, those we sometimes don't feel prepared to face, but we arrive at the right moment to help us grow and keep moving forward. Sometimes it's hard to cope with certain emotions, and the best way to power through is to express them by letting ourselves feel and analyze what's going on inside our heads. Like that is probably one of the most powerful things. Like not just like talking about music in general, but with you as a vocalist and a songwriter because and like a lyric writer because I feel like that's one thing that kind of is not talked about as much is kind of just putting your emotions like out there like directly. It's just there's a lot of songs where they kind of talk about it like in like almost like in a metaphorical sense or talking about it like in a very like push offish way. But I feel like your style you kind of go like more so like in one of like two ways, kind of like like you're pulling them with you to go on this journey, and but at the same time it's like no matter what the person's feeling, it's like you're creating something like for them. Is that kind of like the process that you kind of they kind of like think about when you're writing your lyrics, or what kind of stuff kind of goes into that?
I um like I just really like to be all or nothing kind of person, and that sometimes can be good or bad in life. But when it comes to writing, I'm like I need to say exactly what I'm feeling. Like it's hard for me to be like a metaphor, like say things metaphorically. It's like no, like I need to say exactly what it is that I'm feeling because that's the only way to understand what it is that's happening. Does that make any sense? So
Oh yeah.
I know some people know how to like do very well at like, that's how art is made, right? Because people know how to express it in different forms. For me, I think my problem is that I don't express myself enough every day. And so that's what music did for me. It's like if I'm going to say what who I really am and what I really feel and what's really going on, the only way that I've been able to do that is through music. That's the only way I've found a way to say what I need to say. If that makes any sense.
No,
So yeah,
that's
it's really like being as raw as I can. And that's the only way for me to like uh I need to be raw in order to like dig deep into like those things that'll spark something into somebody else. That makes sense.
no, that makes perfect sense because that's kind of what the power of music has because when we're going through situations and might feel like absolute shit, we might feel at like the lowest of lows, and music can help pick you up, because and I've talked about it before on the show, but like in the whole reason I started this show was because I was literally chronicling the mental health journey, and and I had actually started it probably about 2 months after I started seeing a psychiatrist because the whole reason I started seeing a psychiatrist was because I had actually, a couple months prior, had attempted to take my own life. And like having having that different mindset after like going through everything, and it's like you kind of look back at it and it's just one of those things where you hear the emotions differently, like because you hear it through one end of the spectrum and then you hear it on the other side, and it's just like that's just the power that it can have. And with everybody, like they can also perceive it so many different ways too. Like for example, when I was listening, once again, when I was listening to Rebirth and listening to the EP, I started hearing bands that I'd love to go see when I was, when I was like in my teens and in my 20s, and kind of flashing back to those memories and how much fun I had. And and it's just those little things, because like when I was talking earlier about the first band that I had ever interviewed, that band was actually Kitty. And and it was when Spit had just came out. Like it had come out like the week of. And like they had just played a show at like some bar in like Michigan, and I'd gone to see them, and I was hooked. And like listening to some of y'all songs, like it kind of brought me back to those feelings. And that's what I love. That's what I loved about it so much. And then like sometimes like I would listen, like I would hear some influences of Spirit Box in there too. And then like I kept thinking about how the House of Blues in Orlando, I felt like they oversold that show, and I nearly suffocated in there because when they were touring with After the Burial, they that place was fucking packed. And I'm kind of terrified of sold out shows over there, and I'm actually going to a sold out show over there next weekend because I'm shooting the Newfound Glory show, and that's gonna be fucking chaotic because there are a bunch of elder emos in this area, and they're gonna go fucking ballistic. But um but yeah, like those things, they just, and I know like other people, they would probably get like something completely different, but the message is still the same. Like it's okay to like have those, like those thoughts and those conversations, like putting yourself like out in the open. Like you would be surprised how many people that can impact, because I can guarantee you, for every person that kind of becomes like that has that empowerment to be that voice, they're speaking for probably a few hundred people that don't have that voice but still feel those same things, and like kind of making them feel like that they're not alone, which they're not. And just having that empowerment to be able to like do that and say like, yeah, like our shit can really, it can move the pit, but it can kind of like move your heart too at the same time, and like kind of move your mind, because it's like, I mean, your guys' shit's like a fucking whirlwind. Like it's like it really is like Bjork. Like it's like you don't know what the fuck you're gonna get next. And like it's just crazy. And I feel like the more you guys like play live too, the more like it's just gonna, it's like you guys, I'm telling you, like you guys are gonna fucking do crazy things And there's going to be like, and like you said, like it's just one of those ultimate opportunities where it's just going to be like right time, right place.
Yeah.
This is going to fucking happen, you know? And, you know, and especially like, I feel like once like other, because that's another thing, and I kind of had this mentioned too, is kind of the music scene in Texas, specifically like in San Antonio, because I know like San Antonio is like a very like rooted, like it's like rooted metal. I kind of feel like where, you know, it's kind of like how Tampa is here, because Tampa is like they're like known for like the old school like death metal, like fucking like Cannibal Corpse and all that shit, and then like Chicago is they're like it's kind of like punk and like a lot of new metal came out of Chicago, like fucking Chevelle, Disturbed, Soil. Like I remember going to all those shows. Like I remember us almost getting evacuated out of Disturbed CD release party because because that show was over, like that was oversold, and the fire department had to be called because there was like they were over capacity. But yeah, that was but that's kind of like those, you know, it's those live situations, and you know that you kind of just, you know, like have to deal with. And you know, I would always wonder like, because how many shows have you guys done? Has it been like quite a few? I know like you just had a couple recently, right?
See, since December
I would say like maybe 15 at most.
15.
At most 15 shows. Like,
yeah,
at
maybe.
this point. Yeah.
Maybe just like a few less. I don't know. I feel like it's definitely less than 20.
It's like at least 2 a month.
Yeah.
That's what I'm counting for, because it's already what? It's already August. So 6, 7. Yeah, like 15 at most.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like, and I will, because there's one like when we end, there's gonna be one thing that I'm gonna do. It's gonna be like kind of like my time capsule of sorts, but we'll get to that in a moment. But
Yeah.
but if you kind of like think ahead like a little bit, what would be kind of like your ideal show, like your ideal set? Like who would you want to kind of, whether it be like a one stop show or a festival or like a full on tour, who would you want to do that with the most right now?
Like as in like being a support role, or if like we were headlining and we wanted A, B, and C bands with us.
Why not both?
I definitely one of the bands that I pull from a lot, that like I listen to, that inspire me, and like, okay, I want to do that. Like I want to do what they're doing as far as like impacting people, is Gojira, because my lyrics align a lot to what they're talking about, because that's what I like talking about. That's not only me to write, is to talk about stuff like that, like what's real, like what's really real, not the bullshit stuff, not the, you know, the party stuff. That's for some people, right? But for me, it's just like, I think that's what's missing. It's for people to really see what's going on, you know, what's behind that, you know what I mean? So for me, it's been Gojira. Like I definitely would love, like I know I've made it if I get to open for Gojira, because they're the band that influenced me, and now I get to be part of a moment with them. You know what I mean? It just get to play to the same people that are listening to them.
Yeah.
You know, that's something.
That's an excellent way to think about it too. Like playing for the same crowd that are listening to them. That is such an awesome way to think about it, because I've never heard it like said like that before. So that's super interesting.
Yeah, I'll second that. Gojira for sure. I mean, like, I feel like for Moa, like our main influences, one of them is definitely at least Gojira. Like
Yeah.
that, like especially since the whole Olympics thing just
Oh
happened.
my god.
I mean, I've been playing them just like even more because I'm just like, dude, they took a massive step for the metal world in that regards. And it's like, you know, we went and saw them live, I think like last year. And I mean, I had to, bro. The Art of Dying was back in the set, so I had to like. But yeah, dude, just like seeing that live experience, I'm just like, dude, like this is just so incredible. And then the Olympics thing, and it's just like,
Oh my
dude,
god.
it's
The
best. They're
Olympics
best.
was
So, but to like add on to that for me, like I would love to play a show with Fit for an Autopsy. Like those
yeah.
dudes, um, are like for me personally, like one of my hugest influences. Uh, maybe even like a true reason why I got a 7 string to begin with. Like the way I look at it, like when I heard Korn and I was trying to learn one of their songs, like in high school, I was like, dude, why does the guitar sound so low? Like, what tuning is that? And I think I like looked up like a Korn song to learn, and like I saw an extra string, and I was like, it makes
That's what it is?
it's the extra string. And like it was so funny because like for the longest time I was like, I don't need a 7 string. What the hell are you gonna do with the extra string? And then like right there it was like Korn was like, nah, bitch, this is why you need it.
Yeah. And then Meshuggah's like double it and give it to the next person.
Yeah, and yeah, the sugar's like, bro, check out 8. But
Right.
but yeah, no. So like, Korn was like, okay, I understand the 7 string. And then when a hippie friend of mine was like, dude, you got to check out Fit for an Autopsy, and he showed me Black Mammoth. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing listening to this? That's crazy. And then, but like, after I heard it, like, because I told him to run it back, I was like, dude, this is next level. Like, this is like crazy. And that, like, for me, is like where like pivotal moment for me. So like to even like come back full circle again, because like my first full circle moment was when I got to work with them in the studio, which was like crazy. But to like be able to like play a show with them would be like a double fucking like full circle moment for me, and that would be absolutely a dream for me.
Yeah, and dude, like I have been because I've only seen Gojira once, and I want to see them again mainly because I want to redo. Because when I saw them, it was 2021 at Knotfest in Iowa, and that was I want to say like that show like the lineup itself was fucking amazing. Like I literally had bought tickets the day that they had announced it. And I bought tickets, I bought my flight, like I went with my best friend. Like I met her up in Chicago. We drove 5 hours to fucking Des Moines just to and cuz she's huge into Slipknot. I mean, I am too, but like the band and they ended up canceling, which sucked, but the band that I really wanted to go see was Faith No More. That's like that's my fucking bucket list band because I love Mike Patton. Like he is like one of my like musical inspirations just cuz he's like Bjork. He's just so fucking out there and I love it. I love it so much, but like the music itself was amazing. The rest of the festival, like the logistics and all that shit, absolutely horrid. Like I spent I think I want to say it was like all of Gojira's set and like half a Lamb of God's set in line waiting for food and drink.
No.
Yeah. Luckily, like the stage, like, because both stages were like right next to each other, so I was still like able to like see them, but I wasn't able to be like super close to them because, and it was like a whole like controversy. Like the local Des Moines News reported on it, and like I had done like a whole. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do like a YouTube vlog on this and like kind of chronicle the whole journey. Yeah, that turned into like an hour and a half. Like I call it like a vlogumentary because it was like basically like documenting real time what the fuck was going on in Knotfest. Like what I and it's like, would I do it again? I mean, probably not that particular one,
It's
but
just too much, dude. Sometimes it's just too much, and yeah, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, festivals are hard because in that situation, like, you have to go grab something to eat or something
Yeah.
to drink. When are you gonna do it? Is it gonna be during this band that maybe you want to see or like you don't want to miss, but then like you kind of don't have a choice. Or
Yeah.
you lose your spot.
Exactly. Exactly. And see, like for me too, like I'm one of those people that like I love to get to shows like super early and be able to catch the openers because you never know like who the openers are going to be, and you never know who you're going to find like a new band. And like when I went to I went to the festival because and I actually haven't talked about it on the show, but I actually volunteer for like a mental health organization called Heart Support, and we had our festival last year here in Orlando, and like what the first band on the first day, because it was a 2-day festival, the first band on the first day, I made sure to catch. Never heard them, never even heard of them, and I saw them, and they were fucking amazing. And ironically enough, they were out of Texas too. It was the band Bloodlines, and holy shit, they tore the fucking house down. And I was like, this is why I get the shows early, because I want to see this shit. And like I said, you never know, like, who you're gonna see, because
Yeah, and if only more people had that mentality, they don't want to take the risk, unfortunately.
I mean, I see it as low risk, high reward, because like the story, like just the stories that you get out of that too, because like I still, and this was once again in the year 2000, I still remember it like it was yesterday at the Metro in Chicago. Q101 used to have they used to have like free concerts every week, and it was just like up and coming artists, and it's like you can come in for free and check out the bands, and they had some pretty decent bands on there, and the headliner was a really like kind of like up and coming like Chicago like new metal band called Mary's Window. Has anybody heard of them since? No, but they've heard of the openers, because the openers were a little band called Taproot. And and the direct support from Mary's Window was fucking Papa Roach.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And I was like, holy shit. And this was before Last Resort came out as a single. So the fact that like shit like that, like you're able to say that, fuck yeah. Like fuck yeah. That is that's what like fucking music is all about. And like finding like new bands. And I've like not only like doing the research on this, like finding y'all, but finding like other bands and other artists that are like influenced by you, or that you guys are influenced, because I know as of like 2 days ago, thanks to you, Willa, I'm now under the Brutus rabbit hole.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love them so.
That's another band we would add to the list of like playing with.
Yeah, that actually was gonna be. That's what I was gonna say too. Is like I'd love to play with Buddhist, because they're like another band. Just everything about them, dude. Everything. They only have, from what I know they only have like 3 albums out, and they're good from start to finish. I love every single song they have. Like they're one of those bands for me where they do not have any bad songs. Every song is so good. And like, the vocalist, Stephanie and also drummer.
Right.
She just the lyrics, the singing, everything. She just has it all in the voice.
Yeah.
The emotion, the message, is everything is there. And I love that band so much. So good.
Yeah, there's a video that I found. It was like their full set at the Rock Hard Festival this year, and oh my god, like she is a fucking machine.
I love her.
Like there are, I would put her like in terms of musicians that are like, she's like the latest person to go on my list of musicians that I feel like weren't born in this planet. Like they have to be like absolutely machines or aliens, because how the fuck do you do that and to do like a full set, hour long, doing vocals and drums, and especially like it's not some like, like kick snare shit. Like she's got like, there's some like fills and all that shit in there too. It's just how, like the only like, to me, and to think like I've only been down this rabbit hole for like 2 days and I'm already addicted. And like I put her on the same level as putting a guitar in the hands of Devin Townsend.
Oh yeah.
Like
it's amazing too.
Like that man is not of this planet.
No way. Dude, those prog dudes, like Tosin Abasi, dude, same thing. I'm like, bro, how in the hell are you like just
yeah,
like just wild, man. I love Tosin, Devin Townsend. Yeah, dude, they're just so insane.
Yeah, and another drummer that's absolutely insane too. Fucking, like I don't know if you watch Drumeo, but fucking Mike Portnoy. Holy shit!
I watched a few of his Drumeo videos. Love it.
The dude fucking learned Numa. Like how do you like that's another man that's just out of this world. And
I'm waiting for them to get Mario Duplantier on the fucking Drumeo, dude.
Oh my god.
That's going to be an internet storm, bro. Now would be the time, by the way, because of the whole Olympics thing. Now would be the time. So, Drumeo, if for any reason you're watching this, fucking come on, man.
Right. Like I will fucking sign that petition. I will fucking tag, dude. I will post this clip on my Instagram story and tag them, and I will tag I'll tag Gojira. I'll tag whoever the fuck I need to get that to happen, because I feel like Gojira is gonna be like that band that's just gonna be absolutely just dominant, and
I think right now they're the band.
Yeah,
they're the band for metal right now, and I love that because they deserve that. Mm-hmm. They absolutely deserve that.
Yeah, you know how many people like just reference like that part in the opening ceremony, and like me like super excited telling him like, oh yeah, that's fucking Gojira. They're awesome. Like. Yeah. And it could have been like any fucking band. Like to think like fucking Gojira did something that no other metal band has ever done. Like that is huge.
Yeah, I had people at work coming up to me like, dude, did you hear that this band? Like, I'm like, I already know. I'm like, trust me. I'm like, I'll tell you the name. I'll tell you what albums you need to listen to. I saw them live. Like, dude, trust me. Like, you're getting on the train at the perfect time.
Yes.
Hop on and listen to their discography.
Yes.
Like, it's just amazing.
See, and that's the thing. Like, it opens, it just opens up the doors. It opens up the floodgates, and it just, it's so awesome. And like, and that's the thing. Like with a ton of bands, is that like there's just something like just sharing those groups that like maybe a ton of people have heard of, or maybe nobody's ever heard of. And like, how many people like I've shared y'all's music with?
Oh,
like like seriously, because there's like my best friend. She like I will send songs back and forth to each other every now and then, and like I send her Army of Me, and she's like, "Holy shit!" And then like I've sent her, like because sometimes like and like coworkers of mine, they'll ask me, they're like, they'll be like, "Hey, send me some music while I'm working, just something to listen to, like things that you listen to," and then like you guys are usually like one of the first songs I send. And then like another one, I don't know if you guys, this is kind of going way back too, but um, the band Snake River Conspiracy.
Which one is it?
Snake River Conspiracy.
Oh no,
So they are like very, like it's kind of like like industrial metalish, and they were pretty big in like the 2000s. Like they had their single Vulcan was on, they played it on like MTV like during like Headbangers Ball and like late at night and stuff. But the lead singer Toby Torres, she started up another band called Mojave Phone Booth, which to be honest is 10 times better than Snake River Conspiracy. And I feel like if you um if you like that Bjork style, but like with kind of like a more melodic style to it, like and more of like a, it's like a, she has kind of like a deeper melodic voice. I feel like that's one group that you'll like, you listen to their first album. It's just, that's one that I just throw it on and I just like kind of just vibe, like
Yeah.
those are always like the best ones. And like there's just, I don't know, it's just, that's like I could seriously just talk music, like
Oh, I know.
it's just, because there's the, you go through these things and it's like there's another band that, and this is one person that I put like in the upper echelon too, in terms of like, not just in terms of metal vocalists, but in terms of vocalists in general. Annika von Giersbergen.
Sound crazy.
Oh my god! Like if you, so she does solo stuff now, but she was in a band called The Gathering. And I would say, like, to kind of compare them to Brutus, they're kind of like a more like mellower version. But Annika's vocals, she has like a very like she could hit notes that shouldn't be humanly possible unless you got like kicked in the groin. Like she has that like very like, I don't know, it's like that very like operatic voice.
Yeah.
And it's just holy shit. And if you've listened, and I know there's a couple of Devin Townsend's albums where she's actually on like half the tracks too. So like if you ever hear like a female voice on a Devin Townsend song, it's her usually. But like I would say, I do want to throw this out there because hopefully like a lot of people listen to this and a lot of people like watch this on YouTube. And obviously if you're, and to those that are watching or listening, just know that all of Moa's info is going to be down in the comments. So make sure that you follow them and listen to them and blast that shit. But I want to know, because I feel like this is going to be a good platform to kind of like, if there's like any bands or any artists or any musicians that you want to put out there and say like, yeah, I'm fucking with this right now. This is pretty dope. Like, who else, obviously besides you guys, um, who do you guys feel like should be kind of like blowing up the scene right now?
First band for me that comes up is Chernobyl The Secret.
I thought you were gonna say that other Oxygen. What dates that I got 3.
I'm blanking. Just say it.
I don't know. With the guy singer,
Oh, bro, dude, my boys, Post Profit.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude.
Post Profit.
Hey, they're actually from, I think, Dallas. But yeah, no, dude, they're getting a fuck ton of recognition right now. Shout out to the fucking boys in Post Profit. I love them to death. When I worked at the studio, they came out 2 times. Actually, fun fact: when I was recording guitars for our first EP, I had the studio to myself that night. So I was like, I'm gonna track it, and all of a sudden the door just flies open behind me, and I'm like, no one's here right now. Who the fuck is this? And it's Post Profit, dude. And then one of my friends, the co-engineer Julian, he's like, "Hey man, Post Profit's gonna crash here tonight." I'm like, "Fucking bet, dude." Guys, they are blowing the fuck up. They got signed. They're releasing sick ass music videos. They deserve all the fucking recognition they're getting.
So really,
A band we played with at the big Texas Metal Fest, Chernobyl The Secret, super dope dudes. Ariel is another band, super sick. My boy Mike, shout out.
or Blight Feeder. Blight Feeder, dude. They
Gnarly.
go hard.
Gnarly fucking
They
dudes.
go hard. They're so good. Yeah. But are you also talking about just any other band in general that
Yeah.
like?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be limited in metal. It could be anybody.
Honestly, yeah, for me it's Brutus, dude. Brutus, gotta check out Brutus. I mean, they're already like kind of blowing up because they've gotten much bigger. Like within this year, they've already gotten so much, and I'm so happy that they have. Like they're touring with Architects now, which is
Ooh.
amazing. Yeah. So I mean, Brutus for sure. Check out Brutus. That's a band that I think everybody should check out.
Yeah, like I second that. Like for real. Like I'm probably gonna rewatch that show this weekend too. Like I wanna put it like on because I have like a 55-inch in my living room or my bedroom, and you know I wanna full on fucking experience that because holy shit that like that show was like I think I watched it like twice already and it's just like god damn like how do you even come up with this like.
You also got to check out their Audio Tree
Oh, yeah.
section if you haven't already.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so if you go to YouTube and you search Audio Tree, it's gonna be like I guess like it's the studio or
It's a
this
series.
production. Like yeah, it's like this production channel. They have bands come in, they do a set, and then like in between songs, it's like an interview, and they just kind of talk, you know.
More about themselves,
More
like their
about
base,
themselves.
like what they went through, the creativity process, and all that.
Yeah, right now I think Ginger was on it most recently,
Yeah.
and then Brutus was on there at one
Dying
point.
Wish was on there too. Honestly, like
Yeah. Fuck.
So yeah, you gotta check those out.
Yeah, that's dude. Like I love the behind the scenes stuff.
yeah.
Like when you know, because that's another thing. Like I wish more bands would do. It's like kind of like going, you know, like kind of pulling the sheet back, going behind the scenes, and you know, because I remember like back in the day they had when they did Roadrunner United, they did like a whole documentary about how they made that entire album, which is basically just like an all-star album, and just seeing like the, you know, like the creative people like behind it, and you know when they were doing all the tracking, you know, like especially like when it comes like the drums and the guitars and the bass and you know how they're like writing the vocals and kind of seeing how like everybody does their stuff a little bit differently because some people start on drums, some people start on you know on on the guitars. Like I'm very much a drum person, so I usually start tracking the MIDI first, and then like as I'm like getting the beats, like I'll just like kind of like freestyle a little bit, and then just kind of then I'll kind of get like guitar parts like stuck in my head. But I know another like channel that I've seen that has done a lot of like a lot of backstage stuff. And it's not even like even just the fucking what's it called, the production end, but just like the everyday life end. Like that's almost as intriguing too. And it's like that one channel, the Digital Tour Bus.
To me,
Like they just go like they just visit like different bands tour bus, and it's kind of interesting just seeing like how people like when they tour and stuff like that. And I'm like, and that's like for me that is something that I'm hoping you guys will be a part of, because that shows that you guys are like actually on tour and doing amazing things. And like that actually kind of leads me to the last thing that I got. And because I want to do this, I'm actually going to be doing this with like every interview that I do from now on, so you guys are going to be kind of like spearheading this whole thing. So basically what what I would like y'all to do is kind of almost like record a message for yourself, whether it be like for yourself a year from now, 2 years from now, 3, 5 years from now, like something that like almost like something that you would put in a time capsule. And then what I'm doing is I'm actually making I'm actually making a note, and then when that time comes, I can share it with you. And then, it's kind of like a reflection thing, where it's like, yeah, like I want to do this, it's like I want us to be able to be at this point, or like, or just, just something, like. So what if you could put something in your time capsule that you could open whenever you want? What do you think? What do you think it would be?
I'd probably start with just like, obviously in this however many years from now, it's obvious you haven't lost sight of, the goal and whatever. So just think about what has happened since, just a less than a year of just playing shows, the opportunities we've gotten. And I know like there's always room for growth and improvement. And, in that short amount of time, we've experienced a lot. And no matter what happens in life and in general, like, you just got to keep going, moving forward, try to elevate, yourself and the band to the next level. And the more you can do that, the more cool shit's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, you just keep it up, I don't know if it's 3 or 5 years, whatever your number you decide, but hey, like, let's push for another 3 to 5 and keep it going.
Fuck yeah. How about you, Ella?
Me, I'd say, how much time and effort it took to even have what you have right now. And it's only going to take more work and more time and more focus. You can have everything that you want. You just got to focus and stay disciplined. And like, more is to come, so just always be grateful every single day. Always be grateful and stay grounded, because life is only going to get bigger and better every day.
And harder.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's what we're built. I'm built for this. We're built for this life. We're built for the goals that we are trying to achieve. So, yeah, things are going to happen, and it's okay to get backtrack, because at the same time, it's not backtracking. You're learning. You're
Yup.
just, it's like you're being broken down because you're going to rebuild and you're going to get stronger from rebuilding from those moments and from those things in life that are coming at you, you know?
Exactly. Like it's you know what they say, it's not how many times you fall, or it's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get back up. And that's something that everybody can fucking learn from, But
And this is only the beginning. This is only a sliver of the beginning.
Yeah, like I said, dude, we only played shows less than a year.
And I feel like so
that's-
much has happened.
Yeah, dude.
And it's just like,
It feels like it's been forever, but I think a big part of that is just the fact that we've had songs released and music videos done and all that prior to December. But even still though, like it feels like it happened only like a year ago. Everything.
yeah.
yeah, it's so like it's just, I don't know, it's just so like awesome seeing you guys like progress and and evolve, and like I feel like even this time next year there's going to be totally different conversations about you, like on that next level. And like I don't want to, okay, like I don't want to jinx myself, but like the last the last time I kind of like discovered a band and was just like kind of like got like hooked onto them, like onto this level, and watching them like kind of like grow at the level that you're kind of like when you're moving up those ranks, was Electric Callboy.
Oh,
Damn.
wow.
Because I like started listening to them like when they were doing small shows in Germany, and because Europe's got fucking amazing music, and obviously especially with Brutus, but like seeing how much they've blown up, like especially doing the shit with Baby Metal, that's another one that's like holy shit. And it's kind of funny because like when you mentioned Moa, like I keep thinking of Moa Metal, who's like one of the members of Baby Metal. So like, and that's actually another, like they're one of the rare bands that is actually coming here in November and not part of the whole like Rockville lockout. So, and they're playing at the Hard Rock Live, and I am excited to go see them. And I'm gonna make this prediction. I'm gonna give it 2 years. And that's max 2 years. By the way, like I bet you anything that you guys are gonna at least play one show here, either at the House of Blues or Hard Rock Alive, which is like two of our biggest like concert venues. And because I know that when you guys make that jump and like you tour like anywhere near here, you bet your ass I'm gonna fucking be there.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
front fucking row. I might even get in the pit for that. And I have not been into a pit since, oh god, probably fucking Ozfest.
Well, let's break your pit sobriety, bro.
Yeah, I'm down for it. If I break something, then you know what, Mark of Honor. Fuck it. Like whatever. Like I broke like this collarbone. Fucking broke that shit during Slipknot Ozfest '99. But you know what? But like you said, when it comes to when you kind of backtrack, when it comes to adversity, it kind of gets, good things could happen from that, because of that, I was able to go to the medic area, which was right by the main stage, backstage, and as I'm getting treated, I got to meet fucking Rob Zombie and Chino Moreno. So
Nice. So cool.
yeah, so I was like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
I've gotten to shake Rob Zombie's hand twice.
Nice.
So
I've met him twice at like a signing when American Made Music The Strip Bike came out. But yeah, like he total stud. Like he's so nice. Like
awesome.
yeah.
He's easily one of my heroes. Like his first album, Hellbilly Deluxe, it's just such a masterpiece. Like I can't even like just.
It really is. Yeah, that was one of my first like metal. That was like one of my first metal shows. Now that I think about it, it was 1999. Actually, I remember. So I remember the exact date, March 25th, 1999. It was Videodrone, Rob Zombie, and Korn. Back when they had the Korn cage, where their backdrop was basically just like a 2-level cage, and fans got to like go up in it, and yeah, it was fucking sick. And then the next time I saw Korn was at fucking Woodstock, and that was
99. You were at the 99 Woodstock show.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit.
We saw the documentary.
Yeah, we watched the documentary. We were just like, dude, that's
crazy,
unbelievable.
So I'm going to tell you guys this. That because I watched that documentary too, because I was like super intrigued, because I was like, okay, like how deep are they going to go? They probably only went 20% into how great that they really fucking watered down what actually happened, because that shit, especially on the last day, oh my god, like by the time like the Red Hot Chili Peppers hit the stage, because they were like the final main stage band, oh my god, like it was like there was fires all over the place and so much chaos that was going on. Like we were just about to dip when the Chili Peppers started, because we stayed because we weren't even going to stay like for the last day, but I wanted to stay mainly because I wanted to see Seven Dust, and like it was pouring the whole day and up until like Seven Dust came out, and then there's like, and if you like watch the video of Seven Dust from that set, like there was this bright ass rainbow like facing the stage, and like when they started playing I think it was like when they started playing Bitch, like Lejean like stopped everyone. He's like telling everybody to like turn around and look at the rainbow. Like that was like one of the coolest moments and one of the best moments there. And then that, and probably meeting Sheryl Crow, that was like the most random thing. It's like I'm meeting Sheryl Crow wearing an ICP shirt. What the fuck? I was like, it's one of those things where it's like, what the fuck is your life right now?
Dude,
But
so when at the studio, this guy Ben Queller comes out, and he's gonna use the studio for 2 days to rehearse, and so he enters and he's like, "Hi, I'm Ben Queller." Next band member shows up, says his name, whatever. But then the bass player comes up to me and he goes, "Hi, I'm Chris," and it's Christopher Mintz-Plasse, dude. He's McLovin.
What the fuck?
Dude. And I stared at him, like, and in my mind I was like, don't call him McLovin, but that's fucking McLovin, dude. And I was like,
what the fuck?
And I looked at Ben, and he was like, he kind of like, I don't know what they all were thinking, but Chris just goes, "Yeah, bro, it's me." And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, dude, that is the wildest, most random.
Right.
Just like, yeah, dude, I don't know. And then, Ben takes, he goes outside for like a phone call or whatever, and everybody just starts kind of jamming like some blues or whatever, and I'm like, dude, I have to shoot my shot. I was like, hey, can I jam with you guys? And he's like, they're all like, yeah. And so I got on the guitar, and right next to me is fucking Chris on the keyboards, and we're just
What
like
the
playing fucking blues, dude. Like, what in the fuck? Like,
Right.
wild. Easily same moment, dude. I'm like, I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, that's so insane. But yeah, dude, that
It's
so
funny because that actually reminds me of the band. Like when I went to go, I actually saw Fear Factory and Kitty with, it was like Fear Factory, Kitty, Boy Hits Car, Union Underground, and like one other band. I can't fucking remember. But all I remember was that I think it was the bassist from Boy Hits Car. He used to be fucking Kimmy Gibbler's boyfriend on Full House. Like the one that, like, all he said was whatever. That was his one line. That was his one line. And he's playing bass. And like I had like a meet and greet, and I was like, aren't you fucking Kimmy Gibbler's boyfriend? And he's like, whatever. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And I was like, and I think like I got a poster signed by him, and he literally wrote that on the poster too. But it's just like those weird little things are like, you never know like how music can just fucking transcend like everything, you know?
yep.
It's so fucking crazy.
And by the way, Chris fucking shreds on everything, dude. He's fucking good.
Really?
He was doing bass and harmonies for Ben Queller, dude. Like sitting there fucking shredding on, vocal harmonies and shit. I'm just like, damn, dude.
What the
Let's go.
fuck?
And, yeah,
I'm gonna have to dude, I got homework for days now. Like with all of this all of these like recommendations and all this shit. Now I got something else to look like McLovin shredding on the keys.
yeah, dude.
Like
I wanted to ask him that there's that clip where he does that damn son, where'd you find it? Like I wanted to like ask if that was true, but I totally forgot about it. But for me, like it was if you're a gamer, well you are a gamer.
Yeah.
He did if you ever watched the Far Cry 3 like promos, he's in that. Oh dude, like,
Is he?
yeah, dude. So if you remember when Far Cry 3 was first coming out, they were like releasing like a web series with Voss, and Christopher Mintz-Plasse was the star of that. Him and I forget the guy who plays Voss. He's Nacho in fucking Better Call Saul. I'm forgetting his name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I can't remember his name too, but
when I was like
He's Nacho and
yeah, in middle school and like maybe high school when I was playing the fuck out of Far Cry 3, dude, like that was like my favorite thing to watch was that little web series that he
oh
did.
my god.
So like, yeah, dude, it's just wild, dude. Life's crazy.
That is, oh my god. Like now I need to see, there's another thing I need to look that up because actually I've been going through like my backlog of games, and there's shit that I need to play because usually it's like I'll go on fucking Twitch and stream like either like, usually it's like Call of Duty, but like playing fucking Warzone and shit like that, and just just making people cry. That's usually my thing. But sometimes like I'll chill out and play like Far Cry. Yeah, like Far Cry 3 I played the fuck out of. I used to have a huge because I have a huge flag over here now. But I had one where it was like the cover of Far Cry Blood Dragon. Like that synthwave looking thing.
I remember that.
Yeah, like I had that. Like right now it's actually I don't know if you can actually, let me see if I can, but yeah, I don't know if you can tell what that is, but
pixelated on our end.
Yeah, but it's a giant flag of Poe from Star Wars, Poe Dameron, and Pedro Pascal drinking. Because it's like, why the fuck not, you know? But that's really been, because I was like, that's our whole vibe right there. Just
Yep. Oh yeah, dude.
but yeah, because I know like we've actually been. See, that's the thing. Like when you have a good conversation, it doesn't it feels like it goes by so fucking quick.
So
Yeah.
So, but one last thing, I wanted to kind of give you guys the floor. Where there's gonna be info in the comments, but any other info that you wanna drop about y'all, like where else can we find y'all? Any shows that you got coming up?
yeah, so we're in Corpus Christi tomorrow. On the off chance someone, well, no, you're not putting this out for a minute.
No.
But yeah, no, we're playing Corpus tomorrow.
Frights and Sounds Fest, which is at San Marcos, October 5th.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome because that's gonna be a bunch of other bands playing, like a lot of bands.
Nice.
And then we just have a couple of Austin shows towards the end of the year in November and December.
Yeah, come and take it. So be on the lookout for those. That's kind of it. We have some new stuff like
In the works.
In the works.
In the works and all that. So
No expected release date on anything, but the grind doesn't stop. So.
Exactly. Exactly. And I would say if you want to know where to once that shit drops,
Yeah.
follow them on social media. All of them.
Mass of Amara official on Instagram, Mass of Amara on Facebook. We're also on Bands in Town. We're on Spotify, iTunes, all of that.
YouTube.
And YouTube music
Yep.
too.
Yep, and all of those links will be in the description. If you're listening to this, if you're watching this on YouTube, then if you've made it this far, I appreciate y'all. And go check them out. Like you could stop it right here and go check them out. Like they're more deserving of it. But no, seriously, guys, thank y'all so much.
It was fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, anybody that's listening, stay positive, stay strong, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Oh yeah.